Derek Lawson was just 35, yet he had lived the kind of life men in their 70s would still be dreaming about. He owned a booming tech empire that printed money every hour, drove cars that could make traffic stop, and lived in a mansion so massive it looked like it could host an entire village. And of course, he had a wife, Elisa. She was beautiful, shiny like glass, always dressed like she was about to step onto a magazine cover. To the world, Derek had everything. Then life played its dirty card. One rainy night, after sealing another $1 million deal, Derek's car lost control on the slippery road. The sound of screeching tires, the violent spin, the crushing metal, it all ended with silence. He woke up in a hospital weeks later, staring at a ceiling that smelled of disinfectant. The doctor's words sliced deeper than any accident wound. "Mr. Lawson, your spinal cord is damaged. You'll never walk again." Boom. Just like that, his whole world collapsed. At first, Elisa put up a good show, crying by his bedside, holding his hand like a supportive wife. But trust me, it didn't last. Weeks turned into months, and the crocodile tears dried up. Suddenly her nights became busier than her days. She would strut out of the house in shiny heels, post selfies online with captions like "living my best life," while her paralyzed husband sat alone in silence. One night, when Derek begged her to stay home, Elisa rolled her eyes and hissed, "Derek, I didn't sign up to babysit a cripple. If you need help, hire a maid, or else I'll file for divorce. Period." That was it. A billionaire reduced to begging, while his wife treated him like old furniture. With no other option, Derek instructed his staff to put out a job advert for a live-in maid, someone who could cook, clean, and maybe help him with basic needs. Enter Lily. At just 22, Lily had already lived a life harder than stone. Orphaned at 5 when a fire swallowed her parents and their little house, she became an unwanted package tossed around by relatives. Some used her as a free housemaid, others beat her for every small mistake. No siblings, no friends, no family, just scars and survival. The only thing she held on to was her stubborn faith and a dream that maybe, just maybe, life would stop punching her someday. So when she got the phone call about a maid job in the rich part of town, she didn't think twice. Who cared if she didn't know who the employer was? At least she'd have food and a roof. That was enough. The first day, Lily stood at the enormous black gate, clutching her tiny brown bag. Her shoes were so worn out they could retire, but her heart still beat with hope. The gate opened and out walked a man in a black suit, looking at her as if she were a delivery package gone wrong. "You're the maid?" he asked. "Yes, sir, my name is Lily." He gave a stiff nod. "Follow me." And just like that, she stepped into another world. The compound looked like something straight out of Hollywood. A sparkling fountain danced in the middle, luxury cars gleamed under the sun like ornaments, and the mansion itself, well, let's just say it didn't look like a house. It looked like a 5-star palace that had swallowed gold for breakfast. But beneath all the luxury, Lily felt something else. Sadness. A heavy emptiness hung in the air, thicker than perfume. The man led her upstairs to a quiet hallway and stopped at a door. "Whatever happens, don't talk unless spoken to. He hates noise." Her heart pounded. She nodded quickly. The door opened. There he was, Derek Lawson. He sat in a wheelchair, dressed in a plain shirt and trousers and a face that told more stories than any novel. His beard was rough, his eyes empty, yet his presence filled the room. Even broken, the man still carried authority. "Leave us," Derek told the man. The door closed. Silence. Heavy silence. "You don't look like a nurse," Derek finally said, his voice rough. "I'm not, sir. I was hired to cook and clean," Lily replied softly. He squinted at her. "Are you afraid of me?" She lifted her head, meeting his eyes. "No, sir." That made him raise an eyebrow. "Everyone is." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. "I've seen real pain, sir. You're not someone to fear." For the first time in months, Derek chuckled. Just a small one, but it cracked through his bitterness like sunlight through clouds. "You'll stay in the back quarters. Meals must be on time, the house must stay spotless, and stay out of trouble. If my wife gives you instructions, obey her." "Yes, sir," Lily nodded, though she noticed the shift in his voice when he mentioned wife. There was pain there. That night, Lily prepared dinner. She carried the tray carefully into Derek's room. "I hope it's not too salty," she said with a small grin. He tasted it, paused and looked at her. "This is actually good." Her smile widened. "Thank you, sir." He studied her for a moment longer. "What did you say your name was?" "Lily. You have a kind face, Lily." Her eyes softened. "And you have tired eyes, sir." That one line hit him harder than any insult Elisa had ever thrown. No one had ever noticed. No one had cared enough to look closely. That night, back in her little servant's room, Lily knelt down and prayed. "Lord, I don't know why you brought me here, but please help Mr. Derek find joy again." The next morning, while sweeping the hallway at dawn, Lily froze. The front door creaked open. Elisa, dressed in a scandalous red gown, heels dangling from her fingers, tiptoed inside. Her makeup was smudged, her hair wild, like she had danced through the night. She nearly collided with Lily. "What are you staring at?" she snapped. Lily quickly bowed her head. "Good morning, Ma." Elisa hissed, rolled her eyes, and stomped upstairs. Lily stood there, broom in hand, her chest heavy. The billionaire's wife was stumbling home at sunrise, while her crippled husband lay alone in bed. Something was very, very wrong in this mansion. Later that morning, Derek called out from his room. "Lily?" His voice came low but steady. She walked in with a small smile, adjusting the blanket around his shoulders. "You're up early," Derek observed. "I've always been that way, sir," she said, smoothing the sheets like it was second nature. "I like to wake before the sun stretches its legs. Work tastes sweeter when the world is still half asleep." That made Derek chuckle weakly. You're different." Lily didn't rush to answer. Instead, she tilted her head and asked softly, "Sir, would you like to sit outside today? Just for a little while. Sunlight might remind you what fresh air feels like." He froze, like she had just suggested he run a marathon. "Outside? I haven't stepped out in months." "Then maybe it's about time. I'll wheel you out, just a few minutes," she urged. He hesitated, but then, almost reluctantly, he nodded. "Okay, let's try." Lily carefully helped him change into a clean shirt, brushed his beard a little, and gently wheeled him toward the garden. The door opened, and suddenly, there it was. Life. The air was fresh, birds whistled as if mocking his long absence, and flowers swayed in the breeze like dancers showing off. Derek closed his eyes and breathed in deeply. "I forgot what air feels like when it isn't trapped in a room." "Even trees need sunlight to grow, sir," Lily said softly. He opened his eyes, curious. "You speak like someone who reads a lot." She chuckled. "Not really. I didn't get much school, but I read anything my hands find. Old newspapers, books from the trash, even magazines. They kept me alive on nights I felt the world forgot me." That caught Derek off guard. For the next hour they talked. Not about sickness, not about pity, but about random things, flowers, dreams, books she had half read. For once, Derek felt like a man, not a broken body. But peace doesn't last long in a Lawson household. Elisa's voice pierced the garden like thunder. "What is this supposed to be?" Lily stood up quickly, her hands almost trembling. "We were just enjoying some fresh air, ma'am." Elisa marched down the steps, arms crossed, her designer perfume choking the flowers around her. "And you?" She turned to Derek. "You didn't think to ask me first." Derek's jaw tightened. "Elisa, since when do I need your permission to breathe sunlight?" Her eyes narrowed, then she snapped at Lily. "Go back inside, now." Lily quickly obeyed, quietly wheeling Derek back toward the house while her heart pounded. That night, the storm finally broke inside their bedroom. "Where were you last night?" Derek asked, his tone sharp. Elisa rolled her eyes so hard it was a miracle they didn't fall out. "Out. What's your problem?" "I'm your husband," Derek pressed. She laughed bitterly. "A husband? Derek, you can't even walk. Do you know what it feels like to be married to a man who used to roar like a lion but is now just a tired shadow?" His heart cracked, but he still asked, "You said you loved me." "I loved the powerful man you used to be," she spat. "Now you're nothing but chains tying me down. I'm still young. I won't waste my life pushing a wheelchair and pretending this is marriage." He stared at her, voice shaking. "So that's it? You've already moved on?" She smirked. "Moved on? Derek, I left you months ago. The only reason I'm still here is because this," she waved around the luxurious bedroom, "comes with benefits. The mansion, the cars, the bank account. You, my dear, are just background furniture." His throat tightened. "Then leave." Her smile turned poisonous. "Leave? And miss out on everything? Don't be silly. You can't even stop me. What will you do? Run after me in that wheelchair?" She laughed, the sound echoing like knives. Derek turned away, silent, broken. Outside the door, Lily had paused with a tray of tea. She wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but their voices carried through the walls. Her chest ached as if the insults were meant for her. She slipped away quietly, tears pricking her eyes. For reasons she couldn't explain, Derek's pain felt personal. The next morning, Elisa summoned Lily. "Take this dress to the dry cleaners, straight there and back. And don't try anything funny, you little orphan." "Yes, ma'am," Lily whispered, clutching the gown like it was worth more than her life. On her way back, she stopped at a small pharmacy to buy antiseptic for a cut on her hand. While waiting in line, 2 women ahead of her gossiped loudly. "Did you see Mrs. Lawson at the club last night?" one whispered. The other laughed. "Of course, and she wasn't alone. That tall guy with the tattoo. What's his name? Jack?" "Yes, him. And she's married, imagine." "Well, they say her husband can't walk. What's a woman supposed to do, sit at home knitting sweaters?" The 2 women laughed while Lily's heart sank. So it was true. Elisa wasn't just cruel, she was cheating too. Back at the mansion, Lily placed lunch before Derek. He stared at the food, barely touched it. "Sir, is it not to your taste?" she asked softly. He shook his head. "I just lost my appetite." She pulled out a chair and sat across from him. "Sir, life doesn't end in a chair. You still have something left." He gave her a tired look. "How do you stay so hopeful, Lily, when everything around you screams defeat?" She inhaled deeply. "Because I've already lost everything. Parents, home, dignity. But as long as I open my eyes in the morning, I know I've been given another chance to start again." Derek studied her, almost ashamed. "You're stronger than you look. And you," she said firmly, "are more than your legs. You still have a brain, a heart, a voice. Use them. That's more power than most men alive." That night, Derek lay awake staring at the ceiling. Lily's words echoed in his head like a challenge. "More than your legs. Use what you still have." He remembered the man he used to be, the fighter, the dreamer, the builder. Maybe, just maybe, it was time to claw his way back, even if it was from a chair. For the next 3 days, things shifted. Lily kept working quietly, sweeping, cleaning, helping him with meals. She never gawked at the mansion, never acted impressed by the wealth, just focused on her job. Derek started changing too. He asked to sit outside more often. He requested newspapers. One afternoon he even demanded she help him into his office chair. "But sir, you can't type," Lily said gently. "Then I'll think," Derek replied. "Maybe even dream again." And she smiled. For the first time in months, Derek Lawson looked alive. But of course, peace is something Elisa hated with passion. It was nearly 9 p.m. when Elisa spotted her sweeping through the hallway like a storm. Elisa wore a tight dress that screamed attention, glittering heels and red lipstick that could blind. Her perfume suffocated the entire corridor. "Ma'am, should I pack dinner for you?" Lily asked carefully. Elisa spun, eyes sharp. "Who asked you to speak to me? I was only—" "Shut up, orphan," Elisa hissed, raising her manicured hand as if ready to slap. Lily quickly lowered her head. "Sorry, ma'am." With a roll of her eyes, Elisa strutted outside like a peacock, climbing into a sleek black car that waited at the gate. From the window, Lily watched quietly. The billionaire's wife was dressed for another night out while her husband sat upstairs broken. Something in Lily's chest burned. Something told her this story was far from over. Inside the car, parked at the gate, was a man. Tall, broad-shouldered, with thick dreadlocks falling down his back and a tattoo curling up the side of his neck like a snake. Lily froze. Her heart thumped. So that's him. That must be the famous Tony they gossiped about at the pharmacy. She didn't waste time. She ran straight to her boss's room, almost tripping over her shoes. "Sir, forgive me," she said, panting. "I don't mean to disturb you, but I think you need to see something." Derek, seated in a wheelchair, looked up from his tablet. "What is it, Lily? You look like you've seen a ghost." She swallowed hard. "It's not a ghost, sir. It's your wife. I think she's going out again, with someone." Derek's eyes narrowed, his voice low. "Are you sure?" Lily hesitated. "I saw the car. It wasn't a taxi, sir. The man looked familiar." She took a deep breath. "I didn't want to say this before, but the women at the pharmacy were whispering. They said Madame Elisa's always at the club with a man named Tony, almost every night. People are starting to notice." For a moment, silence hung in the room. Derek clenched his fists so tightly his knuckles cracked. His face went stiff, pale, but his eyes were burning with fire. "Bring me my phone," he said quietly. Lily rushed it to him. Derek tapped into his private security app, the one his own tech company had built. He pulled up the front gate's CCTV footage. There she was, Elisa, blowing a kiss to the tattooed man before slipping into the car. Seconds later, the car roared away. Derek stared at the screen. His chest rose and fell slowly. He didn't curse. He didn't shout. He didn't even blink. Just a cold, deadly silence. "Sir," Lily began, voice trembling. He lifted his hand. "Thank you, Lily. That will be all." She bowed slightly and left, but her heart pounding like a drum. That night, Derek did not close his eyes once. He sat by the window, watching the city lights in the distance. The woman he trusted, the woman he carried into his empire, was humiliating him in the most public way possible. Bold, shameless, proud, and the insult cut deeper because he remembered the hospital. The night of the accident. Elisa holding his hand, crying crocodile tears, whispering, "Baby, I'll never leave you. We'll get through this together." Ha! A sweet lie. She didn't walk away physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She left him the very moment his legs stopped working. I may sit in this chair, Derek thought bitterly, but I am still Derek Lawson, the man who built an empire from nothing. I still have a brain, a heart and power, and I'll remind her who I am. The next morning he told Lily to wheel him into his study. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked softly. A cold smile crossed his lips. "I'm not okay, Lily. I'm awake." Inside the study, he connected his iPad to his wireless keyboard and began typing, slowly, carefully, each letter like a hammer blow. Lily watched, amazed. He didn't seek. Was passed until his lawyer arrived. "Mr. Lawson," said the lawyer, a sharp-looking man in a grey suit. "I came as soon as I got your message." "Sit," Derek ordered. "We need to make changes. My will first. If I die, Elisa gets nothing. Not a dime, not the house, not the cars, not the company shares. She walks away empty-handed." The lawyer blinked, but nodded. "And," Derek continued, voice like ice, "start drafting a quiet divorce plan. I'll decide when to file. But be ready." Lily pretended to busy herself in the corner, but inside her heart was screaming with pride. The lion wasn't dead, he was roaring again. That night Elisa came home stinking of alcohol, heels clicking like hammers on marble. She stumbled into the hallway, only to find Derek waiting for her in his chair. "Had fun?" he asked coldly. She jumped. "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in bed." "Oh, forgive me," Derek said with fake sweetness. "I was just trying to stretch my legs." "Oh, wait. My mistake. I forgot I don't have that privilege anymore." Her face twisted. "So now you want to stalk me, monitor my every move?" "I don't need to," Derek shot back. "I've been watching everything already. Elisa. Tony, right? Tattoo on the neck. Black car. Recognize him?" Her eyes widened. Her lips trembled. "You don't even hide it anymore," Derek growled. "You parade around like a queen, forgetting this is my kingdom, my house, my name." She stammered. "Derek, He raised a hand. "Don't bother insulting me with lies. I've spoken to my lawyer. If you want to walk away, fine, but you'll walk away with nothing." "You can't do this to me," she screamed. "I already did." She lunged, hand flying toward his face, but Lily stepped forward, blocking her, her eyes locked on Elisa's. "Don't," Lily said coldly. "Don't lower yourself any further." For once, Elisa froze. Then she laughed bitterly and stormed off. Later, in his room, she returned, crocodile tears flowing again. She dropped to her knees, clutching his hand. "Derek, please," she sobbed. "I know I messed up. I've changed, I swear. That man you saw, he's my cousin. I forgot to introduce him. It was a misunderstanding. The devil is trying to break us, baby. Please, don't let him win. I still love you. Please forgive me." Derek stared at her blankly. He said nothing for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "I'll tell my lawyer to hold on, but listen carefully. If you don't change Elisa, you're out. No second chances." Her tears stopped almost instantly. She forced a smile, kissed his hand and walked out. But the moment she shut her bedroom door, her mask slipped. She stared at her reflection and smirked. "This man thinks he can threaten me? Please. He has no idea who he's dealing with. I'll deal with him my own way." Later, Derek was in his study when Lily brought in his dinner. "Thank you," he said quietly. "Sit with me for a moment." She obeyed. "My wife came to me again," Derek said. "What did she say this time?" Lily asked carefully. "The usual. Tears, promises, cousin story, blaming the devil for her own sins." "Do you believe her?" "No," Derek said flatly. But I told her I'll watch her closely. That's where you come in, Lily. Help me. Keep an eye on her. Lily frowned. Sir, forgive me. Maybe instead of wasting so much energy on her, you should focus on yourself. Try exercising again. Even small movements. You've been sitting too long. You might surprise yourself. For the first time that day, Derek's hard face softened. He stared at her quietly. Lily, he said slowly. Yes, sir? I love you. Her eyes went wide. Sir, what did you just say? You heard me. I love you. From the first day you came into this house, you've been my light, the only one who makes me feel alive again. Lily stood quickly, her voice shaking. Sir, please, don't say things like that. You're married and I'm just your maid. She left Derek's study quietly, her heart racing from what he had just confessed. She closed the door behind her and leaned on the wall, breathing hard. He said he loves me. He actually said it. She pressed her hand to her chest, then shook her head quickly. No, he's still married. I can't think about that, she whispered. Meanwhile, in the living room, Elisa sat cross-legged on the velvet couch, scrolling through her phone like she was the Queen of England. A sly smirk played on her lips. She heard Lily passing by and suddenly called out, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. Lily, darling. Lily froze. Yes, ma'am. Come here, Elisa said, patting the cushion beside her. I want to have a little chat. Lily hesitated. Sitting beside Elisa always felt like sitting beside a snake pretending to be a pet. But she obeyed and sat at the edge of the sofa, her hands neatly folded on her lap. Elisa smiled like she was about to announce a charity donation. Tell me, Lily, do you want to further your education? Lily blinked in surprise. Yes, ma'am. More than anything. I've always dreamed of going to university. Oh, university, Elisa sang softly, leaning closer. What if I told you I could help you, travel abroad for your studies? Lily's jaw dropped. Really, you'd do that for me? Of course, Elisa said, flashing her perfect teeth. You've been cleaning this mansion for too long. You deserve more, my dear. A good public school overseas would change your life. Lily's heart jumped. Thank you, ma'am, but if I may ask, why are you suddenly saying this? And just like that, Elisa's sweet smile dropped. Her eyes turned cold, sharp like knives. She leaned back and folded her arms. Because I need you to do something for me. Lily stiffened. What is it, ma'am? Elisa looked around, making sure the coast was clear, then pulled a small white packet from her handbag. She placed it gently into Lily's palm. Put this in Derek's food. Lily stared down at the powder. Her throat went dry. Ma'am, what is this? Oh, don't be dramatic, Elisa said, waving her hand. It's just something to help him relax. My poor husband needs to rest more. Lily's eyebrows furrowed. Then, why don't you give it to him yourself? That was the wrong question. Elisa's smile snapped off completely. Her voice turned sharp, dripping with venom. Don't be stupid, you little village girl. Derek hates taking medicine. He'd throw it away the second he sees it. Do I need to spell everything out for you? Lily's mouth fell open. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I can't do this. I can't. Elisa shot up from the couch, fury flashing in her eyes. You have no choice. Lily rose too, trembling. Please, ma'am, don't make me. Elisa stepped closer, her face inches away, her voice low and chilling. Listen carefully. If you don't do as I say, I will make you disappear. And if you ever breathe a word of this to Derek. She leaned in closer. I swear your body will vanish before sunrise. Lily stumbled back, her hands shaking. I'll think about it, ma'am, she stammered. That wicked smile returned to Elisa's lips. That's better. Lily scurried to her room like a frightened rabbit, slammed the door and collapsed to the floor. The packet lay in her palm like a curse. Tears filled her eyes. What do I do now? She whispered. If I tell the truth, she'll kill me. If I stay silent, I'll be part of something evil. She wrapped the packet in a tissue, shoved it into a small envelope, and buried it deep inside her handbag. That night she didn't sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at it like it was alive, Elisa's cold words echoing in her head, if you don't do it, you disappear. The next morning, Lily cleaned the mansion as if nothing had happened. When she brought Derek his breakfast, her hands shook as she placed the tray down. Lily, Derek said, studying her face, what's wrong? You don't look yourself. She forced a smile. I'm fine, sir. He tilted his head. You know you can talk to me. You're not just a maid in this house. Her lips trembled. She lowered her eyes. Sir, can we talk later in the garden? After breakfast, she wheeled him to the garden. The morning sun was soft, the air peaceful, but Lily's heart was in chaos. "There's something I need to tell you," she whispered, "but I'm scared." Derek reached for her hand. "Nothing will happen to you, Lily, not while I'm alive." She breathed in deep. "Yesterday, Elisa called me into the living room. She promised to help me travel abroad to further my education. But then, she opened her bag and handed him the envelope. She gave me this. She told me to put it in your food. When I asked her why she couldn't do it herself, she insulted me, then threatened to make me disappear if I refused or told you." Derek opened the envelope and stared at the packet. His face turned hard, pale, his jaw tight. "Thank you for telling me," he said slowly. "I didn't know what to do," Lily whispered, tears in her eyes. "But I couldn't hurt you. I couldn't." "You did the right thing," Derek said, though his voice shook with fury. "She doesn't love me. She never did. This isn't just betrayal. This is wickedness." That afternoon, he sent the packet for lab testing. By evening, the results came in. It was poison. Not something to relax him, but a slow killer meant to destroy his organs bit by bit. Derek sat in silence, his chest heaving, his mind numb. The next day he told Lily quietly, "Act normal. Don't let her know you told me. I'll deal with her myself." Later, Elisa waltzed into the kitchen, humming. "So," she asked casually, "did he eat it?" Lily froze for half a second, then forced a smile. "Yes, ma'am." Elisa's lips curled into a wicked grin. "Good girl. Keep it up and you'll earn that plane ticket sooner than you think." Lily nodded, forcing a laugh. "Thank you, ma'am." Inside, her stomach churned. "Lord, please keep me safe." That night, Elisa poured herself a glass of wine, celebrating alone in her room, thinking she had won. But in his study, Derek was on the phone with his lawyer and a private investigator. By morning, Elisa strutted around the mansion like a peacock, humming, her pride dripping with every step. To her, she had already buried her husband, just not in the ground yet. But Derek was waiting, quiet, watching, planning. And Lily? She could feel it deep inside. Something was about to happen in the Lawson mansion, and this time it would not end like any other day. Then, at exactly 4 p.m, the doorbell echoed through the Lawson mansion. Lily peeked from the kitchen, her hands still dripping from dishwater. 2 men in dark suits walked in with briefcases, not the type who come for tea. One was Derek's longtime lawyer, Mr. Anderson, sharp as a blade in human skin. The other, a private investigator with eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. Elisa came clattering down the stairs in her silk robe, fake smile plastered on her face. "Who are these men? And why are they in my house?" she asked, one hand on her waist, the other clutching her phone. Before she could open her mouth again, Derek rolled his wheelchair forward from the sitting room. Calm, cold, dangerous. "Sit down, Elisa," he said quietly. Elisa raised her brow. "Excuse me, who do you think you're ordering around?" "Sit," he repeated, sharper this time, like a man who was done being anyone's fool. The silence was so heavy you could hear Elisa's heartbeat stumble. She reluctantly sat, crossing her legs like she still owned the world. Derek looked at the investigator. "Go ahead." The man opened his folder and laid photos on the glass table one by one. Elisa caught in Tony's car, Elisa holding Tony's hand at a hotel, Elisa dancing with Tony at a nightclub like she was auditioning for disgrace. Elisa's jaw dropped. "What is this nonsense? Are you stalking me?" Derek's expression didn't even twitch. "Keep looking." Then came the final blow, the lab report. "This powder," the investigator said, holding it up, "was found in Mr. Lawson's food. It isn't medication. It's poison." Elisa jumped to her feet. "That's a lie. That useless maid set me up. Lily is the snake here, not me." "Sit down," Derek roared for the first time. His voice cracked like thunder, and Elisa froze on the spot. His eyes burned with betrayal. "I gave you everything. My name, my fortune, my trust. And this is how you repay me? Cheating in my face and poisoning me behind my back." "It's not true. She's lying. That little orphan maid wants to destroy our marriage. Can't you see it?" Elisa screamed, pointing toward the kitchen where Lily stood silently, her eyes calm. The lawyer slid an envelope across the table. "Mrs. Lawson, these are your divorce papers. Mr. Lawson has already signed." The world seemed to tilt under Elisa's feet. She staggered back. No, Derek, please. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was just lonely. I was desperate. Please forgive me." Derek shook his head slowly. I forgave you once. You used my forgiveness like a knife to cut deeper. You wanted me dead, Elisa. Don't stand here and tell me it was an accident." Her tears flowed like a broken pipe. She dropped to her knees. "Don't leave me. Please, I'll change. I swear this time I'll change." Derek looked at her with an expression so cold it could freeze fire. "You had your chance. You chose betrayal." The lawyer stood. "You have 48 hours to vacate this house. If you resist, the police will gladly escort you." Elisa's face twisted with rage. She turned toward Lily, who was still by the kitchen door, silent as a shadow. "You! This is all your fault, you wicked orphan. I should have thrown you out the first day you stepped into this house." Lily didn't flinch. She just met Elisa's eyes and said nothing. Sometimes silence is the loudest insult. Elisa stormed upstairs, her heels clicking like war drums. 2 days later, she left the mansion with her suitcases, head low, dignity shattered. No paparazzi, no farewell hug, just shame. That evening, Derek called softly from the dining room. "Lily," she walked in. "Yes, sir." "Come sit," he said. She sat beside him nervously. He looked at her with tired eyes but a soft smile. "It's over. She's gone." "I know," Lily replied gently. "Thank you," he said. "You don't need to thank me, sir. You just needed someone to open your eyes," she said. Derek chuckled weakly. "You've been more than that, Lily. You've been everything." Her cheeks turned red as she looked down at her hands. He added, "I still mean what I told you before, but I won't rush you. Just know this, I'm free now, and my heart is open." Lily's breath caught in her chest, but she only smiled faintly. Meanwhile, across town, Elisa dragged her luggage into Tony's house, the very house she had secretly built with him using Derek's money. She banged on the door like a madwoman. Tony opened, shirtless, drink in hand, and frowned. "What the hell are you doing here this early?" "This is my house too," Elisa snapped, pushing past him. "And don't you dare act like you don't know what happened. Derek threw me out. He knows everything. About us, the poison, all of it." Tony's eyes widened. "Wait, he knows everything?" "Yes," Elisa shrieked. "And that little maid, Lily, she's the reason I'm ruined. Derek trusts her. He believes her. And worst of all, I think he's in love with her." Tony set down his drink slowly. "So let me get this straight. You gave your youth to Derek Lawson, lived like a queen, and now some broke housemaid is about to replace you?" "Exactly," Elisa spat. "Everything I built is gone, all because of that stupid girl feeding him lies." Tony was silent for a moment, then pulled out his phone and made a call. His tone was cold. "Mano, I need a job done, tonight, no mistakes." Elisa blinked. "Tony, what are you doing?" Tony ignored her. "Yes, whatever it costs. Just make sure it's clean, no witnesses." He ended the call and smirked. Elisa's eyes gleamed with dark excitement. "You mean they'll disappear?" Tony's lips curled. "Both of them. Gone. For good." Elisa laughed wickedly, kicking off her heels. "Finally. Let them feel what I've felt. That cripple and his pet maid will wish they never crossed me." Tony handed her another drink. "Relax, babe. I've called the right men. They don't miss." That night, while Derek sat in his study reading and Lily wiped the last dish in the kitchen, 3 motorcycles roared quietly to a stop a few meters away from the mansion. 3 masked men stepped off, all in black. One whispered, "That's the place. We go in, take them out, and vanish. No noise." They cocked their weapons and moved like shadows toward the back gate. Inside, Lily froze when she heard a faint metallic click near the window. Her stomach turned. She switched off the kitchen light and tiptoed to Derek's room. "Sir," she whispered, breathless. He looked up. "What is it?" "I think someone's outside." Derek wheeled quickly to the security panel and tapped his tablet. The CCTV feed lit up and his blood ran cold. 3 masked men climbing the back wall. He slammed his palm on the alarm button. The mansion roared alive with sirens. "Stay close to me, Lily," he said firmly. "Don't panic." Outside, floodlights snapped on. The intruders froze. The neighborhood guards rushed over with guns drawn. "Freeze!" they shouted. One thug tried to jump back over the wall, but a bullet caught his leg. The others dropped their weapons, trapped like rats. Minutes later, police cars surrounded the estate. Inside, Lily trembled, her hands gripping Derek's. Who would do this to us? Derek's eyes were heavy with certainty. He already knew. At the station, one of the captured men cracked under interrogation. "We were paid," he confessed, "by a man named Tony to kill a crippled billionaire and his maid." The case moved fast. By the following week, Elisa and Tony sat side by side in court, both handcuffed, both in dull prison clothes. Elisa's glamorous glow was gone, her diamonds replaced with pale skin and regret. Tony, her so-called saviour, couldn't even look at her. At the back of the courtroom sat Derek Lawson, sharp in a crisp suit, Lily at his side, holding his hand. Calm, strong, free. And this time it was Elisa's turn to watch in silence as everything she schemed for crumbled to dust. The court was packed, the tension so thick you could slice it with a knife. The judge finally walked in, black robes sweeping the floor. "All rise," the bailiff barked. Everyone stood like schoolchildren caught cheating. The judge sat, and silence swallowed the room. The prosecutor adjusted his glasses and rose slowly, like a man ready to drop bombs. "Your Honour, after weeks of digging, after reviewing calls, money transfers, CCTV clips, and even a lab report, we can confidently say this. Elisa Lawson and her lover Tony planned to destroy Mr. Derek Lawson and his maid, Miss Lily. This wasn't a little mistake. This was cold-blooded calculation." Gasps filled the courtroom. Elisa jumped up like she'd been pricked by a pin. "Your Honour, don't listen to him. I was deceived. That powder wasn't poison. I thought it was medicine. Tony tricked me." Tony shot up like his seat was on fire. "Lies. She's the one who gave me the money. She's the one who said Derek had to go. She begged me to do it." "Silence," the judge thundered. Both sat down like guilty children. The judge flipped through the thick file in front of him. He looked at Elisa, then Tony, then back at his notes. His face was stone. "After careful consideration, this court finds both of you guilty of conspiracy, attempted murder, and unlawful possession of harmful substances." Elisa's mouth dropped open, but not a word came out. "As for sentencing," the judge continued, "Elisa Lawson, you are hereby sentenced to 10 years in prison. Tony, 12 years. The sound that ripped through Elisa's throat could have raised the dead. "No! No, Your Honour, please. I was rich. I was loved. I don't belong in prison," she wailed, her voice cracking. One officer grabbed her by the arms. "You should have thought about that before you tried poisoning your husband." Tony, on the other hand, just sat there with his head bowed like a man who knew his last drink of freedom was yesterday. 3 weeks later, the Lawson mansion was finally calm. No heels stomping down the stairs, no perfume covering up lies, just peace. Laughter filled the air again. Lily hummed softly as she watered flowers in the garden. The place smelled of roses, not betrayal. Derek wheeled himself outside, looking stronger than ever. The man who once lived in shadows now had a spark back in his eyes. "Lily," he called gently. She looked up and smiled. "Yes, sir?" "Come sit with me," he said. She dried her hands and joined him on the bench. He sat there quietly for a moment, staring at her as though gathering courage. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. When he opened it, the sun seemed to bounce off a diamond ring inside. Lily's eyes widened, her hand flying to her mouth. "Lily," Derek said, his voice trembling slightly, "you walked into my life when I was at my lowest. You fed me, cared for me, believed in me when even I stopped believing in myself. Will you marry me?" Tears pooled in Lily's eyes. She whispered, "Sir." "Don't call me sir," he interrupted softly with a smile. "Call me Derek." She laughed through her tears. "Yes, Derek. Yes, I will marry you." "Do you love me?" he asked, searching her face. Lily nodded quickly, almost desperately. "I've loved you for so long, but I thought you'd never see me that way." Then came the shock of the century. Derek stood up. Yes, stood, on his own 2 legs. Lily gasped and stumbled back. "Derek, you're walking." He chuckled, steady and sure. "Yes, Lily, I can walk. But how? When? You couldn't even stand weeks ago." He took her hands, eyes serious. "Truth is, I've been able to walk for months. I told no one, not even Elisa. You want to know why?" Lily nodded, her heart racing. "I started hearing whispers about Elisa, about Tony. People came to me saying she was cheating, wasting my money, planning God knows what. I didn't want to believe it. So I tested her. I asked my doctor to lie, to tell her I'd never walk again. I wanted to see if she loved me, or my wealth." Lily covered her chest with her hands, stunned. "So all this time, you were pretending?" He nodded. "Yes, and in the middle of all that, God sent me you. Loyal, kind, true, the very opposite of Elisa." Lily burst into tears, laughing through them. "I don't even know what to say." "Say you'll be my wife," Derek whispered. "Not because I'm rich, not because I can walk again, but because I love you and you love me." "I will." Lily breathed. Today, tomorrow, always. Weeks later, the Lawson garden bloomed like heaven. The sun lit up the ceremony. Derek stood tall in a fine suit. Lily, in a simple white gown, glowed brighter than diamonds. "I do," she said, her voice steady. "I do," Derek replied. They kissed, and the crowd erupted in cheers. From orphan maid to beloved bride, Lily's life had turned around. Derek, too, had finally found real love, not in gold or luxury, but in honesty, simplicity, and loyalty. And somewhere in prison, Elisa sat on a cold bunk, cursing the maid she once mocked, while Lily lived the life Elisa threw away. 2 years later, the Lawson mansion didn't just echo with silence anymore. It echoed with laughter, baby cries, and the sweet chaos of a family that had been rebuilt from ashes. Yes, you heard me right. Derek Lawson, the so-called crippled billionaire, who everyone thought was finished, had now become the father of twins, a boy and a girl. Perfect pair. Jackpot. Lily, the once invisible maid, was now Mrs. Lawson, the woman of the house, the heartbeat of Derek's world. Oh, how life can switch lanes without even using trafficators. Elisa, the ex-wife who once thought she had it all, was now pacing a prison cell with nothing but regret and cold cement to keep her company. Tony, her partner in crime and side-chick boyfriend, was also serving his punishment, probably practicing his acting skills for jailhouse drama. But back to the Lawson mansion, because let's be honest, that's where the real movie was happening. The twins were like little magnets of joy. The boy, Daniel, had Derek's stubborn eyes. You could already tell he'd grow up rich and bossy. The girl, Diana, had Lily's charm, the kind of baby who could cry and make you laugh at the same time. Together, they turned the mansion into a circus of baby bottles, toys on the floor, and sleepless nights. Derek, the once cold billionaire, was now proudly carrying diapers in one hand and business files in the other. Yes, the mighty Lawson could negotiate million-dollar contracts while burping a baby over his shoulder. Talk about multitasking. Lily? Oh, she was glowing. She'd gone from scrubbing floors to giving orders to chefs and nannies. But don't get it twisted, she wasn't the arrogant type. She was still the same sweet Lily, only now with a crown on her head and a husband who worshipped the ground she walked on. Sometimes she'd look at Derek and shake her head. "Imagine, sir. Sorry, husband, just a few years ago you were pretending you couldn't walk. Now you can't sit down for 2 seconds because the twins won't let you." Derek would just laugh. That's the price of happiness. And honestly, best deal I ever made. The neighbours? Oh, they had plenty to gossip about. Isn't that the same Lily who used to be the maid? Yes, now she's the madam. And twins too? God really has favourites. And honestly, they weren't lying. Life inside the Lawson mansion was dripping with blessings. No dark secrets, no betrayal, just peace, laughter, and enough baby noise to keep everyone humble. One evening, Derek sat on the balcony with Lily beside him, the twins asleep inside. The city lights sparkled below, but his eyes were fixed only on her. "Lily," he said softly, "when Elisa betrayed me, I thought my life was over, but God sent you, and now, look at us, a family, happiness, real love." Lily leaned her head on his shoulder and smirked. "See, you didn't need a walking stick, you needed a wife who could handle your stubborn billionaire ways." They both laughed, and for once, Derek didn't feel like a man who had lost. He felt like the richest man alive, not because of the billions in his account, but because of the love in his home. And so, the story of the crippled billionaire who was betrayed by his glamorous wife turned into the fairy tale of a humble maid who became his queen. Because sometimes the people you overlook, they're the ones who carry the real treasure. Hello, beloved viewers. What a journey, right? From betrayal and heartbreak to joy and double blessings with twins. Life has a funny way of turning tables, and Derek and Lily's story proves that true love always wins. Tell me, besties, what lessons did you pick from this chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't be shy. Share in your own language too. If you enjoyed today's story, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next twist coming your way. Stay blessed, stay loved, and see you in the next story.